Maybe you know what to do, but you overthink everything. And everyone tells you, just be disciplined, just believe in yourself, be confident. I mean, what the fuck? Has any of this motivational fluff ever helped you? Probably not, otherwise you wouldn't be here. As someone who works with all kinds of people, multimillionaires, entrepreneurs, small business owners, pro athletes, I can tell you, self-doubting is not your problem. The fight against self-doubt is your problem. The more you try to get rid of doubt, the more it grows and quietly controls you instead of you actually living a free, abundant, successful life. And it is holding you in this small version of yourself that is not able to live up to its full potential. And in the next minutes, I will not only remove that root cause of self-doubt, but I will help you to transmute that into unbreakable confidence, like you probably have never experienced before in your life. After this video, you might find yourself wanting to go into action, wanting to execute, wanting to experience those things that you currently are hesitant on, and really go for that best, better version of yourself. So let's dive right into it. Your problem is not that you experience self-doubt. Most of the time, we've been taught, just be confident, just believe in yourself, just do it, which is maybe a good emotional support for you if you hear it from a friend, in some sorts of moment. But if you genuinely want to change and shift your life, that does not work on the long run. You're fighting against the fact that it is already there. What you're with that saying is that the fact that it's there, it is wrong. It should not be there. You're losing out on energy, on joy, on ease, just because of that fight against what is already there, instead of learning to deal with it in a way that it helps you, that it supports you. So most people have never learned that. Most people have never understood why it's even there. It's just been overwritten, just been ignored, just been suppressed. And I had the same until I met this guy who taught me about emotions and feelings and the power and the reason why they're there. And that's the reason why I'm sharing this in my YouTube videos, so we can start using the value out of certain things that we might believe that they are blocking us. Instead, they're actually helping us. Let me explain. Our intelligence, our human race survived and evolved over so many thousands of years. Everything that we have, everything that is a part of nature, will not be there to sabotage our success. It is there to actually improve the way we live, the way we behave, keep us especially safe, and make sure we survive as a species, okay? Therefore, parts like self-doubt, insecurity, feelings of unsafety are not there just because we're some sorts of stupid or not working properly. No, they actually have a really major important reason. So let's clear that as a baseline. There's nothing wrong with you, there's nothing wrong with me. We have to understand the purpose of that feeling, of that experience of self-doubting things, and then we can work with it in a proper way and actually utilizing that information that we get out of it. Before we keep going deeper, it's very important that we have to understand what we resist persists. Feelings are energy. Emotions are energy, is energy in motion. So if we suppress energy, if we stop energy, if we kind of like harness energy, it will grow. And you probably know that experience when you go to bed and you felt really bad before going to bed. Just sleeping over it, just, ignoring it and trying to sleep will not really shift it. You will wake up with a bad feeling, you will wake up with a heavy load on your shoulders, on your chest, and you will not feel light, easy, and happy and excited to smash the day. Therefore, what we want to do is not constantly resist those parts, but acknowledge them and utilize them. And that actually is with any feeling or emotion. But exactly this part that persists it to be there will cause you to fight and lose out so much energy that you actually could put into creation, into enjoyment, into work, and so on. So you actually improve your life, but you lose out so much because of losing that energy and fighting against the fact that this feeling, this experience is there. Therefore, it's an important learning to see the consequences. What happens if we actually resist it? You might feel at some point exhausted, drained, just helpless, hopeless, unhappy with your situation. That is not because self-doubt is there. That is there because you're fighting doubts. And most people just do not get the message that this experience, that this feeling wants to tell you. And maybe other people taught you that it is bad to experience it, that it is wrong, that you shouldn't experience self-doubt. Just believe in yourself, people say. And especially which I'm not a big fan of, are like these motivational speakers and people who just go up on stage and tell you how to be successful and wrote a book about some sorts of wins, but no one really shifts their situation on a deeper level because the root cause is never being shifted. Therefore it's so much fluff and motivational bullshit, but not really an internal reprogram happening of your system. And I want to shift that today with you. Let's create space for that feeling of doubt instead of constantly suppressing or ignoring it and trying to push it away. Self-doubting actually represents and means that you're not 100% confident in that aspect. If you're doubting, you're skeptical, you're not fully safe in a decision or towards an experience or something, right? If we look at the 5 main emotions that humans have, we have grief, anger, happiness, shame and fear. And self-doubt is similar to insecurity, which is, coming together, an extension of fear. Maybe we would describe things as fear if it's like really intense, not as insecurity. But it's coming from that root emotion, fear. If we know that, if we understand that, and we know how to deal with emotions, and especially fear, the right way, we know that fear tells us that something is unknown. That's the only thing. Not that there's danger, not that there's something wrong, not that something bad could happen or anything. It's just saying, I don't know. It's unknown yet. This, I want you to take now as a baseline for what's coming next. And if we see it from this angle and perspective, we can understand that it's a part of our ego, a part of our intelligence to just keep us safe. So the big benefit from actually self-doubting and feeling doubt, insecurity, or unsafety is to feel safe, to be safe as a human. And if we see it from a high perspective and we go down that path, why do we want to feel safe? Why is it so important? Why would we not do certain things even if we want to do them? We come down to two major aspects. One thing is I'm not loved and accepted. And the other thing is I'm not surviving. And ultimately, if we're not loved and accepted by our community, we might be rejected anyway. And therefore, our life is in danger, right? If we go on a very primal level here and see the ego, how it works. So knowing that, we know it's a security mechanism of our system, of our brain, which is super clever. And actually now we can acknowledge it, we can celebrate it, and we can appreciate that our system is clever enough to keep us safe. And as a task right now when you're watching this video, I want you to take a moment to note things down that you personally are experiencing self-doubt in. Where you're doubting yourself, where you're doubting your project, your career, your experience, your relationship, whatever it is that you're currently feeling unsafe or insecure or uncertain about. Just note it down quickly and have a look. And you will find exactly that aspect where you personally going to experience either the idea of not feeling loved and accepted just the way you are, or that you might be rejected and that might leave you lonely, alone, and back then, in a very far past, it would have meant that your life is in danger, which thankfully now it isn't. So now if you're wondering, okay, give me now a proper learning here, what can I, work with? Give me something to work with. Listen to this. I'm going to share a client story with you of a client that came to me recently, also inspired me to record this video, because he experienced high levels of insecurity and self-doubt. First of all, leaving his sales position in one company and now having the opportunity to enter a business relationship with two business partners that succeeded already in business and have a very beautiful and good image of his work and his performance in the previous company. So now he's experienced a level of pressure, performance anxiety, insecurity, of course, if he will keep up that performance that he had in the previous company. And as I mentioned before, now he just does not know how he's going to perform. It wouldn't be going too deep enough if we just look at from, oh, I have performance anxiety, I just have to believe in myself. No, that's not how it works. How it works is actually to realize I feel fear failing, fear of not performing, fear not being good enough, and so on, which is all connected to, in the end, being rejected and unloved and accepted. But that means in the end, he does not know yet, right? That's how we're going to deal with fear. We just don't know. It's the unknown. So now we have to have the ability to deal with the unknown in a way that actually we feel supported and we feel there's a good purpose for us. And the core question that I've asked my client is, if you fail, if you start that company and the project fails, the business partners suck, if he just doesn't perform anymore, or even if he just starts doing the work, maybe he's good at it, but he just doesn't want to do it anymore, could you still live with that? Even if it won't work out, could you still live with that? And of course, the answer was yes. But in the end, the desire, and that's very important here to understand, the desire for most of us humans that is actually super limiting is to be loved and accepted just the way we are. While the person who actually unconditionally can love and accept yourself is you. Because even in a world, out here, in our world where we live in, there will never ever be the 100% case that you are loved and accepted to 100%. Never. Because in our society, because of other humans' boundaries, desires, values, and so on, you will always find something where other people say like, look, if you're just going to behave this way, we won't accept you here. We don't like you here. I lived in Dubai for a while. If you even kiss your partner in public, they will tell you, please leave the space. Even that. So are you thinking, I want to be loved and accepted just the way I am? No, in the end, it is to be okay with failing, to be okay with being judged, being criticized, being abandoned and rejected. But not because you try to be okay with that, but because you choose and love and accept yourself and see that even if you fail, you're still okay with yourself. And that's one major part that all of a sudden frees you from that pressure having to perform. It can be extremely freeing and actually giving space to finally breathe and say like, wow, okay, even if I fail, I'll be okay with that because I know who I am and I know I will find a way forward. And maybe in the experience of going And working with those business partners, I will maybe find information that will guide me to a new path. Maybe I will not do sales anymore, but shift into marketing. That could be the case, right? But we don't know yet. And this uncertainty does not come from you just not being good enough. It comes from you not knowing it. And now let's actually make that massive move from feeling now free to actually being really freaking great and fucking confident. The confidence now does not come from pretending to be something that you're not and, playing all this great stuff that most of people do on social media and posting their cars and things and trips and all of the things. No, that's not how we do it. Because even that client who pretended then to be a better salesperson than he actually feels he is, that increased his anxiety because he was not actually confronted with the truth, in other words, aka the known. As we mentioned, fear comes from not knowing. Now he's playing a role trying to compensate that feeling of pressure and insecurity and unsafety by playing something that he might be not, and which then causes him to really experience an even worse situation than before. Therefore, it's super important for you now to know, hey, I don't want to actually even pretend to be something that I'm not. That will cause the downward spiral to just increase. So what's the shift now? What we want to do is get into the known. We want to be confronted with the truth. We want to find out what is the truth, what is the experience like. We want to get to the next step, to the next information, to then assess and judge ourselves, not based on our fear or the unknown or assumption, but judge ourselves based on the real, true experience. So in the experience of my client, he might be a freaking great guy and he might sign endless amounts of deals and be celebrated. He might just be far beyond what he thought he will perform like. Or he will experience something where he will get the feedback like, I'm not good enough. I'm just not the best salesperson. I'm maybe not even fitting for that team, for that company. Maybe the request is far too high than where I am currently am in my level of skill. So he then actually has some landing ground. He has some baseline. He has some tools he can work with. He will be able to deal with that feeling, deal with that situation completely different. So now that confidence does not come from some silly motivational speakers that tell you to just be confident. It comes actually from consciousness around how we deal with insecurity, feeling unsafe, and so on. Choosing ourselves, loving ourselves, supporting ourselves, and being the best and biggest fan of ourselves. One really freaking valuable sharing that I want to add for you as a big bonus that was just big for me in my life. And I really want to make this video more valuable for you guys to, and add that here, is where one of my mentors shared with me that I have always in my life been alone. From that moment of birth, maybe physically, I've never been alone. But the experience that I've experienced of so many different feelings was always me. And no one else will be able to fully understand and empathize with the way of how I felt. That means I am the only person who can love and accept myself, or even understand myself or have compassion for myself for the experiences that I've had in the past, that I have currently, and that I will have in the future. This ownership of your internal, emotional, and mental state will give you the absolute 100% level of freedom that you need and desire to experience your full potential in life. So now you seeing this video and you went through the steps with me, from starting to recognize and acknowledge the self-doubt, understanding where insecurity, self-doubt actually comes from, acknowledging the feedback that it gives you, and also the opportunity to choose and love yourself and being the biggest fan of yourself, to now coming into a place of actually wanting to find out the real truth, making the unknown known. I hope this video helped you. I hope you see the steps that every time you experience self-doubt or insecurity, you can go to actually experience a very confident, self-assured version of yourself. Because remember, even saying I am not sure is quite self-assured. It's okay to experience the unknown. It's okay to not be sure and not be great and not be where you want to be yet, but you're on the way there and you learn how to deal with certain aspects of life, which is fucking amazing. Therefore, I want to say thank you for watching this video. Thank you for listening to me. So if you enjoyed this video, if you liked it, if it helped you, give me a feedback of other topics that might be interesting for you, and I will record a video to it, or I will answer questions right in the comments. Give it a thumbs up if it was valuable for you, and I'm seeing you in the next video. All the best, and see you then.